Greetings. I am Barbara J. Faison, and I am hosting conversation with my amazing guest, Ananda Leeke. Now, Ananda, as we start, I'm going to ask you, yes, we're pandemic, so I like to keep things a little light. This is one of my favorite treats right now. This is the Ghirardelli sea salt dark chocolate. It is one of my must-have in the house. As you can tell, I've been snacking on it a little bit.
Okay.
So it's time to get some, go to the. So I want you to share. I know we're all spiritual and everything, but we all have our little treats. So what is one of your treats?
So one of mine is this popcorn. It's the Buddha popcorn, and I would reach into my trash can and show you the bag, but it's now deep down in the bag, in the plastic bag. Well, one of the things that I do every week or every other week, just to kind of celebrate, especially during COVID-19, is I get the Buddha popcorn, and I don't know if that's what they call it, but it's like this Buddha's on the front of it, and it has avocado popcorn. It's like avocado-licious popcorn. It has, the reason why I like it is because I don't break out because of it. There's a lot of things that I'm allergic to, and I do love chocolate, but I'm allergic to dairy, and I get eczema on my face, and I'm pretty vain. So especially in the summer months, and I've had some issues, like the first couple of weeks I was dipping into stuff I shouldn't have been dipping into, and I had a few little small breakouts, and I've learned to say no and go back to my treats. But I will say this, I love mangoes, and I buy mangoes and avocados like they're going out of style. Like when I come to the grocery store, the guys in the organic store I go to, they're like, mangoes? I was like, yup. Mangoes, avocados. I love that. And also too, this is sounding weird, maybe, but I love oatmeal, and I just love it. It's a comfort food. I don't know what, I love oatmeal with berries, and
I saw that as I was reading on your blog. You like
I love it. I love oatmeal. And then the other thing too that really helps me, especially when I want to ground myself, and I've had a whole lot go on during the week, like this week, is that I hold my crystals. And this is, a lot of people think, but I really do hold them. Like I'm really holding them right now, just to kind of ground myself, because it has been a very full time for those of us that are doing this kind of work in terms of self-care and mindfulness practices. And I've got to be mindful of my own self-care. Like I just came in from a walk, and
me too.
Just power walking on the hills. I don't know about you, Barbara, but 55 ain't no joke. And I know I may not look like it, but my body is like, yo, don't joke. We not playing with you, sister. So COVID-19 is not
right. You cannot miss a day, because
no, because it's really no joke. So, but also too, not just for vanity purposes, as people can tell that I am vain. I do it because it clears my head, and it's a form of meditation. Is this walking? It's feeling the ground underneath me, is feeling the wind against my face. It's feeling the trees. I touch trees. I touch flowers. A little bit more mindful now during COVID-19. When I go out, I just keep my hands to myself.
Well, absolutely. I just came from a walk too. I walk twice a day, once by myself. To walk by myself. And the second one is I walk with my son. And walking with is a bit of a truth, because he doesn't walk with me. He's 16. He walks like 5,000 feet behind me, but we walk and we go out together and come back together. I came back, and one of the things, like you were saying, walking clears my head. And we have these zero gravity chairs in we have some on the deck. We have two on the deck and two in the flow, as recline and just let the birds sing to me and feel the wind, because it's a windy day today. And there is just something so calming. And I did just before I came in. I was like, let me get my little walk in so I can come in. I still fanned out, but anyway, hopefully I calm down a little bit. But it's just important that we recognize how important it is to be in touch with nature at this time. You know, the birds, I have a thing for geese and, you know, all kinds of water birds, and it's just time to really be connected with all that. I was going to ask you, so was that citrus all in your hand, or were the you have in your hands right
The
now?
crystals, I have citron for the solar plexus chakra and rose quartz for the heart chakra. And so I keep I keep a plate. I have plates and bowls of different crystals, and these are the crystals that I'm currently
Mine is right over there.
vibing with. You know, I have a you know, trays and stuff over in the corner in the kitchen. My kitchen's not like a total normal kitchen. It's kind of like a healing arts laboratory of sorts.
It works, you know, it works for you, and that's what it's about.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get started with some basic questions, and we'll get through the interview, and we'll just kind of, I know I read through your background, and it sounds like you grew up in a really wonderful family structure that appreciated who you were. And I think, at least from what I read, it certainly seemed that way. So what was what started you on this path of meditation and mindfulness? Was there a key thing that hit you that you started?
So
can you share a little bit about that?
Sure. You know, I have to first say that when I first started doing some of whatever this is that we do, you know, I didn't know that that's what it was. I was really trying to just release stress. And the first form of meditation, when I trace it back, that I started with was a walking meditation, and that happened, you know, over 30 years ago in the summer of 1989 when I was studying for the bar exam. And I lived in a place in DC, not too far from where I'm at now. But if anybody's familiar with DC, it's the Gold Coast on 16th Street. And there's a part of 16th Street that just lays right on up to Carter Barron. And I would walk from the Woodner, where a lot of Howardites stayed. And if you were in the 80s and the 90s and Howard, and you had parties in the Woodner, you know what I mean. And I'd walk in the evenings and in the mornings to release the stress, because I just didn't know how to calm myself down. So my mom said, just walk, you know, just walk, drink water and walk. That was her prescription. And the walking turned into running, and that became my form of meditation, until I reached a point in my career as a lawyer and as an investment banker, and then transitioned into digital communications, when I flatlined. I was burnt out, and I started seeing a therapist. And as we were unpacking my issues, she recommended that I try meditation, because I'm a recovering type A control freak, and I was having panic attacks. And she said, if you do not try meditation and get this under wraps, I'm going to put you on medication. And so that was a wake up call for me. And I do want to say that I know that there are folks that take medication, and that works for folks. That wasn't that wasn't the path that I took, and I'm in support of whatever people want to use in order to manage their anxiety, their stress. You have to work it out individually. So she mandated that I meditation, and I had tried it a little bit, but I hadn't taken it very seriously. And I became a devout meditator during that period of time, and then was introduced to yoga. And you know how it goes. Once the door opens into the mindfulness practices, you get exposed to so much more. I joined a women's meditation and self-care group that a number of
Mhm.
women who were working with Iyanla Vanzant in the early 90s, that they were leading it. And so they exposed me to sound healing. They exposed me to crystals, to chakras, to everything. And over time, I
Mhm.
watched how these practices transformed me and gave me some tools. I had a toolkit to manage when stuff happens in life, when you're living, because stuff
Yeah.
will happen. And I ended up seeing how it worked for me. And I eventually answered the call by becoming a yoga and meditation teacher, a Reiki practitioner,
Mhm.
and working with an organization called Smith Center for Healing in the Arts at Howard University Hospital and Walter Reed National Military Medical Center. And I was fortunate to be blessed with the opportunity to work one-on-one with patients and families and staff on creative projects that often involve breathing. And many of the people were suffering from, or I won't say suffering, they were living with cancer, HIV, AIDS, or other long-term health challenges, and where you can't escape the pain. And so one of the first things that I would ask people to do is to breathe with me and to breathe.
Mhm.
And that's where I really saw how powerful these practices are, for people, and how they are bringing ease and space to folks, that I'll never know how much
Mhm.
pain they were in, um, but they taught me as well, and they also encouraged me to take my gifts seriously and to invest in myself in terms of my own care, but also in terms of sharing my gifts with others. And that's where we are today. Long story short.
And the beautiful thing is you listened and
Mm.
acted and that is so key that we sometimes hear, but we don't necessarily
Mhm.
act on what we hear. We kind of like, I go back, I remember hearing Michael Beck was,
Mhm.
I want to be that spiritual.
Right.
So
Right.
it's like, so to act on, right, to act on it is
Mhm.
is really key, however you do that, right? So
Right.
so what has been the most surprising part of your practice? Is there anything that surprises you? Because I mean, you started walking, then you moved into the yoga, then you
Mhm.
moved into the breath work and the meditation. And
Mhm.
so, first of all, walk me through what this is now. Like today, what did you do? And then tell
So,
me what
okay.
has been surprising about the practice for
Well,
you.
I'll tell you what, every day is surprising to me because I have the best of intentions and I like to plan. I'm a over planner, and I've just been, you can relate. So I've been operating
Hmm.
at best, with some self care, but I've been operating quite fast these last couple of days, and my sleep hasn't been as rich as I would like it to be. And so what happens is that my body does take over and says we're going to go a little longer, even when I say, oh, you can get up, and it's like, no, we're not. And so what's surprising to me is, even in the midst of me ditching my morning practice, because that's what I call it, and substituting a very simple practice, that a practice does happen and that it's okay, and that we don't have to figure out, like, okay, well, if I didn't get to do 5 minutes of this or an hour of that, then I'll just pack it in at lunchtime, or I'll get it on the back
Hmm.
end in the evening. It
Yeah.
is what it is. And I think what's surprising to me is that I can simply say the prayer of thank you, and I can simply say the forgiveness prayers, and I can take what our teacher Michael Beckwith says, is to ask, what is my divine assignment for this day? What is seeking to emerge within me? What good am I missing here? And what are my next best steps? Like, what's surprising to me is that there's a tape. It's not even a tape, it's embedded in my spirit, in my heart, in my mind, in my body, of many micro practices that come up in these moments when I'm not able to,
Mhm.
or I'll choose not to. I don't want to say I'm not able to. I chose not to.
Mhm.
I could have done it. I just wanted to sleep. I wanted to snuggle in my bed. That's it. And that was a practice. I
Exactly.
had my
Exactly.
mala beads right with me and didn't use them. They were laying right there on the pillow, and I just snoozed right on through. But that's a surprising thing, that every day it shifts and it changes, and that I'm getting better with
Mhm.
releasing the need to have it show up a certain way. I'm getting better at allowing myself to just go with the flow and to simply just do as I think it was Master Eckhart. You know who I'm talking
Mhm.
about. He said,
Mhm. Mhm.
the simple prayer is thank you. Just saying thank you,
Yeah.
and just being able
Yeah.
to say thank you and letting that be the breath, and taking the 3 breaths that I tell clients and folks to take. Make your breath your BFF. It actually does work, and I go,
I love that.
oh shit, this shit works, and I was just like, I would hope so. You keep telling people, that it does. And
Right. You keep telling people.
right, you actually like get paid to do that. So come on, I hope you are using it and testing it out and practicing it. I do, y'all. I do, but I like to amaze myself and surprise myself from time to time. Yeah. So you asked me what my practices were, on a day-to-day basis. When I am, I like to start my day with tapping, and um, that's the practice of just tapping on certain parts of your body to release any stress, any negativity, any thoughts, any fears. Because I find when I wake up, if I linger long enough, I allow my mind to take me into a place of a lot of doubts and a lot of fears and a lot of chatter. And instead of running from it, in the last several years, I've used it as an opportunity to be curious. And
Mhm.
now I'm using it as an opportunity to just go deeper into the shadows, into the spaces of it, and
Mhm. Mhm.
and befriend it, and just say, okay, so you all are coming up. Well, this means I'm going to tap. And so just releasing that and tapping, and then moving into Reiki. And so the tapping doesn't take that long, because I'm repeating some release statements. And then I move into Reiki, because that clears the energy for the Reiki to move through me clearly, through my chakras. Sometimes I chant for the chakras. Sometimes I do my mala beads, and I chant the Reiki symbols on the beads, or the
Mhm.
whatever comes up. I follow the flow. Then I move into um, the prayers that Michael teaches, and I add my own stuff to it. And then I move into a forgiveness practice that has been really revolutionary for me. And um, it started a couple years ago in our church. I go to a number of different churches. I'm a love streamer with Agape online. If I lived in LA, I would be at Agape International Spiritual Center. Shout out. I also attend Unity of Washington, D.C. with Reverend Sylvia
Reverend
Sumter.
Sylvia. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
also Unitarian Church. I pay attention to them too. And then also Ricky Byers' devotionals on Facebook. So I don't
Mhm.
do it every single Sunday, but I do use these resources, these communities, to support my practice. And one of the things that Reverend Sylvia had us do several years ago was the Hawaiian forgiveness prayer. And I probably gonna
Ho'oponopono.
exactly. Thank you for saying that. I was gonna butcher the name. And so that practice was really big for me. And I ended up um, using it, and I met some really great people at a retreat a couple years ago at Big Bear. Shout out to my friends at Big Bear Retreat Center, Bill, Rob, and others. And they really forced me to deal with my shit because I was pretending that I could forgive some folks and I wasn't ready. And they called me on my stuff, and the people in the circle didn't know me, but they would call me on my bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave me some language to really allow myself the space to be okay with where I was. And I came home with a greater understanding of self forgiveness and not trying to power myself through, like push myself through. That's a part of my shadow, my pattern stuff is pushing through, pushing through, pushing through. I mean, it's gotten me certain places, but at what cost? And that's where these practices have helped me, be kinder and gentler with myself. I constantly tell myself to take the mindful self-care vitamins of loving kindness, compassion, non-judgment, patience, and forgiveness, because those are the things that fly away when my judgment goes crazy, and my dear inner critic, who's now a friend, Broomy, she used to be Broomhilda, when she comes up, she we used to get into a big battle, and now she's showing me what I'm triggered by. She's really just waving that flag, saying, hey, this is one of the areas you may want to tap on, that you may want to forgive, that you may want to go and listen to a sound bath and let the vibrations, move through whatever it is. Because not everything I believe that happens has to be, journaled out or thought out, or
Mm-hmm.
it can be through vibrational music or sound healing. So yeah, that's the practice. Sometimes if it's been a full moon or a new moon, like today is a full moon in Scorpio,
Yeah.
so tonight I'm going to do a little bit of yoga and pull my full moon cards. And
Okay.
sometimes I go to a full moon circle or a new moon circle. I really follow the moons on a daily basis. Like, I like to read a little bit about it to find out what it is. But the full moon and the new moon and the astrological impact of the moon, of the and the astrological impact on the moon is what I use also. I know that that's a lot for folks. I have a busy mind, Sagittarian, um, like a lot of things.
Well, the thing that I heard from that is you're kind to yourself, or you're in the,
Mhm.
I look at it as we're always evolving. Some days we're
Mhm.
kinder, more gentler to ourselves than
Mhm.
others.
Mhm.
And what is so important is to recognize that, some sleep to me is a much overlooked part of self-care.
Mhm.
Sleep is so critical, especially I think at this time, that we just really give ourselves a grace of, if I want to sleep in, I'm
Mhm.
going to sleep. And I'm still doing practices because, you listed quite a few. You listed Reiki, and, I know you sometimes chant, and you listed tapping. We have a girlfriend that has a journal, a 40-day journal. So we do 40 days of something. So tapping is part of
Oh,
my daily practice right now, as
wow.
well as
Mhm.
life script. And I love it. And I love it because there's something about that tapping. And
Mhm.
I don't know if you've ever tapped doing the forgiveness Ho'oponopono. That is as well.
Mm.
Tapping while saying the four phrases for Ho'oponopono.
Mhm.
And I have done Ho'oponopono while doing rating on myself as well. And
Mhm.
it's just something about that combination at the same time that's pretty powerful. So as someone watching this that is new, what is something you would share with them regarding, I've never done a practice before?
Mhm.
What would you, because I know you have several things going on. You have your podcast, which we didn't even get to talk about,
Right.
your podcast that you have your academy. So share a little bit about that so people can know. And
Sure.
have you started starting on the 10th, right? You're
Right.
doing a challenge. So share
Yeah.
about that so people can find that
Okay, most
Out to
definitely.
you that, that perspective and give them some resources.
So just so I can get a recap, so you want me to share if someone is brand new to just trying to understand mindfulness
Hmm.
practices, what would I say to them?
Hmm.
And then
Or how
also
would
the
they start? Yeah.
how would it start? Okay. So, and also to share my offerings that are
Mhm.
current. All right.
Yes,
Cool.
absolutely.
I can do all of that and do it in a simple way. So, if it's a new person, I want to say to you, first of all, congratulations for keeping an open heart and an open mind and an open spirit to exploring something new. That's not always easy to do, and so that takes courage, and it takes an investment of time, and that right there is an indicator of self-care. Just the fact that you're open to it and that you're seeking it, because you wouldn't have found this video, you wouldn't have found Barbara or myself if you weren't seeking it. So your spirit is bringing you to what you need. So congratulations on answering the call. The second thing I would say is that you have this beautiful thing called your breath, the breath of life. It lives in all of us. Otherwise, we wouldn't be right now. And the breath is free. It's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And it's one of the most overlooked aspects of self care. And I think everything begins with the breath. And your practice with mindfulness is just that, as a practice, but you have a birthright to mindfulness and a birthright to self care. Everyone is born with the ability to be aware of what's happening in the present moment. As a human being, you deserve self care. You're worthy of it. Self care is the act of nurturing your spirit, your heart, your mind, your body, your breath, and your life in ways that uplift you. And it means different things to different people. Uplift could be inspirational, motivational, it could be fitness related, it could be calm, peace, whatever you want to put to in terms of uplift. So, beginning with your breath, just starting in the morning when you wake up, before you even move and get out of bed, you could be laying down, just still cozy, and taking 1 to 7 deep breaths and just breathing in through your nose and then out through the mouth, a nice cleansing breath. Ha. And I say the ha because you might want to release something that you're holding on to, and just breathing and just doing 1 to 7 breaths. Just take one and then out. And then begin your day. That's before you check the phone, that's before you brush your teeth, before anything. And just bring that one breath, one moment, one step at a time. I call it the one thing rule. Just one breath, maybe one breath before you turn the faucet on, one breath before you get in the shower, one breath before you begin to make breakfast, one breath before you sit down, one breath before you put on your deodorant. You get what I'm saying? So that you get in the
Hmm.
habit of connecting with your breath. And it's just one mindful, deep breath. One breath before you turn on your digital devices. One breath before you even speak to your loved ones or your colleagues or whomever. Just one breath. One breath before you put on your lip gloss if you're like me, or your beautiful pinks like Barbara and I. Um, but one breath. And what you're doing in this process is you're becoming aware of the breath, how you're feeling, you're noticing it, and you're also training yourself to come back to your breath. You're not trying to sit and have a full meditation practice. We're not going to try to get you to do that. Because I think that's what, in my experience, in my own experience in trying new things and trying to establish practices and habits, is when I try to rush myself and take on too much, that's when I just like fizz out and I flatline. I take things in small
Hmm.
steps. And so you're making your breath your BFF every time you take that deep breath. And so maybe even smiling after you take the breath. And also celebrating, figuring out a way to celebrate your small wins. I think we don't celebrate enough. So celebrating the fact that you listened to this interview, that is self-care. anytime you get information that's that's going to support you, that's a step in the right direction for you. So yeah, just take a deep breath in and then out. Yeah. And if you feel like you want to do more, then that's great. Go then do the bonus piece of that. I always like to say, here's the bonus prize. Listen to one of the episodes of the Thriving Mindfully podcast on SoundCloud. You can go to soundcloud.com/Ananda-Leeke. If you forget all of that, just go to anandaleeke.com and you'll see media, and then you'll pick one of the buttons, you'll find it, or you can just reach out on the contact page and say, Ananda, I can't find your podcast. But the podcast series has over 100 episodes on guided meditations, the Mindfulness 101, mindful living, mindful creativity, mindful technology. You get where I'm going with that. Everything you can think of about mindfulness is probably there or is on its way. Things about self-care are there, and then wellness also. Now, if you want to go and invest some time, check out the Thriving Mindfully Academy, which is an online education platform that I launched at the middle part of March. It's a soft launch, and I did a soft launch because of what's happening in this world that we're living in right now as a result of COVID-19. Many people are experiencing a myriad of feelings and thoughts, and it's impacting folks in different ways. And I decided to move up my process and let go of my perfection ideas and just share what I have and let it be organic. And so now when you go to the Thriving Mindfully page, just go to anandaleeke.com/academy. You'll find videos, you'll find podcasts, resources, tips, tools, and you'll find information about Digital Wellness Month, which is May. And no matter when you find this video, whether it's May or December, you can still apply those tips and tools to your life. So I decided to launch Digital Wellness Month last week when my brother and I were talking. You see how all this is coming into play. And Digital Wellness Month is an opportunity for me to help people become aware of how we're using technology, and then to bring a mindful, intentional, and healthy approach to the use of technology so that we can have some tech life balance in our homes, in our lives, that when we work and when we have our businesses. I know I am a true candidate for tech life balance. I have overdose times of technology. Um, I love it, and then it does stuff to my eyes when I've been on the line online too much, where my eyes start to jump around. I have to be mindful of how I sit, because I have lower back opportunities to stretch. And yeah, if you want to explore self-care within a community and with my support, you can join the Thriving Mindfully Academy 7-day self-care challenge. Go to anandaleeke.com/challenge. It launches on May 10th and it ends on May 16th. There's going to be some really wonderful treats in the Facebook group. It's a private Facebook group that you'll get access to once you sign up. And we'll have some live coaching sessions with myself. We have a big kickoff on Mother's Day at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have an early bird kind of check-in for those who want to just start off nice and early on Saturday, May the 9th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we'll do a check-in in the middle of the week, and then we'll have a celebration party online on the last day on the 16th. So those are some of the offerings. And if you're interested in reading and you want to get a good spring or summer or winter, whenever you see this video, read, check out my 3 books. right behind me is one of my favorite paintings. I'm also an artist. I learned how to paint and to take myself seriously as an artist while I was working as an artist in residence at Howard University Hospital. And one of the individuals that I work with who was living with cancer, he was a master artist who was getting his MFA from Howard. And I thought I was helping him, but for the period of about 2.5 years, when I worked with him, it became a master arts workshop, and he was instructing me on how to create art. And
Wow.
he got me to paint. He really he pushed me to the edges. And during the time that I worked with him, I developed a body of work that appears on 2 of my books. And the painting behind me is called Creative Grooviness.
Wow.
It was inspired
Nice.
by this artist by the name of Tasco. He's no longer with us on this plane. He made his transition, and it decorates the cover of my Mindful Creativity memoir, That Which Awakens Me, which talks about my journey from lawyer, banker, digital communications professional to wellness professional and author and artist. If you are looking for a mindful technology book, I have a memoir called Digital Sisterhood, and that celebrates the power and presence that women have played in my digital life and career. And it also has information about a digital wellness plan and how to manage yourself online. And then the last book is called Love's Troubadours, and it's about a yoga teacher who's like me, but not like me, if you know what I mean. And her journey as a recovering art curator in a museum, and she's also a yoga teacher, and she has a lot that she's dealing with in terms of losing her job, finding out family secrets as a result of a family death, moving from New York to DC, and she is using her mindfulness practices and self-care practices to navigate the changes in her life. And she has the support of family, friends, and a therapist, as well as travel and online dating to navigate her life. Yeah, so those books are at anandaleek.com/books, and they're also available on Amazon. Yeah, and if you want to know more about me, just go to anandaleek.com/about. AnandaLeek.com has everything. So check me out. And I'm on social media as Ananda Leek. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ananda. So I want to leave it one thing because you did say, this is kind of my bonus question. You did say
Mhm.
that you enjoy technology and stepping away. So you have games that you're currently playing that you're connected with. Like I have discovered online mahjong
Oh,
and
wow.
Scrabble.
Uh-huh.
Like you said, I'll find myself going, Barbara, get off, get off, get
Mhm.
off.
Mhm. Mhm.
So do you have anything that you are connected to like that?
Yeah, it's called Instagram. It's like I'm, I'm a
Yeah,
grammar like
got you,
nobody's
got
business.
you.
I'm a grammar. I mean, like, hi, my name is Ananda, and I'm in Grammar Anonymous. Like, really and truly, y'all, it's really real out here in these internet streets. The gram is
In
like,
these streets, these IG streets.
right. The gram is so, it's got so many, and then IGTV, and you land
I was
on
gonna
one.
ask, so you got the, I haven't followed
Yeah,
you on.
like
You got
you land on Instagram, and then you see a video, and it's like Alice in Wonderland. You see my eyes, and you just go deeper, 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 and then before you know it, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. Like,
oh
and
my
you have to tell yourself no. So one of the
no.
things that
And then see,
helps.
when I stay on too late, it takes me too long to wind down to go to bed.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah. Yeah. It
you
can.
know, it's like you need to get off at least 30 minutes before you go to bed,
Yes.
Barbara. Scrabble go.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a very, very scary thing. So, what I try to do is, I do know I like to watch like something. I love, it's like I like to have dessert. So I like to have I have to watch the sugar teeth, just life in general. And
Mhm.
I use like
Yeah, yeah.
these fruit cups. Like that's my dessert over
Yes.
here. Fruit cups, anything cold like a mango or something like that. But I have to give
Yeah.
myself like popcorn, a little bit of popcorn, because otherwise I'll be so mad. Like I need something. So I like Young and the
Yeah.
Restless. I have to give myself like a little bit of that. And I do my planks, or I'll do some yoga during. I know that doesn't sound right. I'll do a little bit of yoga during watching Young and the Restless. But now Young and the Restless is no longer showing real, you know, current shows. So I'm back to the gram. I'm like, I'm just like,
I,
oh, I need.
well, and I saw that you also, because I was reading through your info, I'm like, I love Queen Sugar. She likes Queen Sugar. I love this is,
Yeah, it's
this
yeah,
is us.
like
And it's like,
yeah.
you're right. So these things alive, And so it's like,
Hmm. Yeah, but the good thing
wow.
is that
So,
the
well,
good thing is that Oprah has her magazine, and I like to read that. But also
yeah.
too, I've learned that I can only binge. Like tonight, I'm definitely going to sleep early because I feel like my bags are down to here, and I'm awake, but my body is saying, "Chick, we are going to bed."
Uh,
Yeah, like it does catch up. Like,
yeah.
it takes. It's like I can do a day, but then the
Yeah.
very next day I crash. So
Yeah. Yeah. And, like you said, when we cross over certain um, birthdays, got you beat. I've crossed over 55, but it's like my body is like, I don't know what you think you're doing, but I'm not
hmm
going there with you. So you need to walk, you need to do this, you need to do that. I don't know what you're trying to do, girl, but I'm not signing up for that. So,
hmm hmm
it's just, and it's just my people, I do my daily meditation and I remind them, listen, I'm telling you now, I am not a master at any of this. I am here to
hmm
remind you it's a practice,
hmm
it's a process. And
hmm
I was listening to Brene Brown on her
Yeah.
Unlocking Us podcast, and she was
hmm
had Harriet Lerner on. She
Yes.
said, I have done more apologizing in the last few months than and we're in
hmm
those times.
hmm
So I thank you, thank you, thank you
hmm
for accepting the invitation, for other people to find out about you so we can connect also. My sister
hmm
in silence and kindredness, I'm just so excited I've
hmm
discovered you. Thank you, universe, for planting that seed for me to know that there are other people, which we know, but it's wonderful when you can connect with people
Yes.
to know that they're out there doing this work and that we can help fill each other up. I remember one of my Reiki friends says that every healer needs that around. So
hmm
I, like one of my girlfriends that's in my circle, she's a radical forgiveness coach, and
Wow.
like, no, you can't get rid of me. I'm gonna be like that leech, right? That so
hmm
you're not gonna get rid of me.
hmm
So what would you like to say to share with anyone? And
I would.
because I hope you'll share this with your people as well. But
Oh,
anything
most
you want
definitely, most definitely. And Barbara, I just want to say, if there's any way that I can support you at any point in time on this planet, you just let me know. That's an open invitation, for support for anything, brainstorm, whatever it is you want to do.
I will take you up on
I know you will.
that.
I know you will. I really appreciate it. And
Yeah.
I would simply say to folks that if you can begin to use your breath a bit more in your life, and to notice what you notice about yourself as you breathe, whether
Mhm.
you're paying attention or not. But as soon as you notice that you're paying attention, to smile, and to give yourself that, hey, I'm paying attention, because that's what it's about. It's like Barbara said, it's a practice, but just using the breath, getting in touch with how you're breathing, so that you notice when your breathing is shallow, you notice when your breathing is fast, you just notice these things. Having a relationship with your breath, so that you know and you can pay attention to your body. Our bodies are our blueprints to what's happening emotionally, spiritually, physically, and it shows up in your body. It's just that we're so busy, and that we use other distractions, including Instagram, to um, to not zone in on ourselves. And it's self-care isn't selfish. Self-care is one of the best things that you can do for yourself and for your loved ones, because when you take care of yourself, you can take care of other people. um, yeah, so the breath, make your breath your BFF. That's
I
what I would
love that. I
say.
was just going to say, I love how you say
Mhm.
that. Make your breath your BFF. And the one, one of my
Mhm.
taglines or things that I say is it starts with me, one breath, one thought, one deed. And I love how you shared
Mm.
earlier. Just take one breath.
Yeah.
You take one breath. You
Yeah.
know, you don't have to do more than that. But when you start
Mhm.
taking a breath and then noticing, it just makes such a difference.
Yeah.
So I
It
thank
does.
you so much, my dear
Thank you.
friend.
Thank
And
you.
I'm just so grateful that we are able to be connected now. And
Mhm.
I'm just in a good place. I'm gonna go and do my walk with my son. That'll be
Awesome.
my second walk for the day. And enjoy your G girl.
Yeah. Where are you based
enjoy
in?
enjoy the gram.
Where are you
I'm based
based?
outside of Atlanta.
Awesome. Okay. Well,
Uh,
whenever I get to
Atlanta.
Atlanta, I will
Yep,
definitely look you up. And
absolutely.
if you're ever in DC, I'm in DC proper, right on U Street
Yeah.
neighborhood, Northwest. Um, I rep my
My
neighborhood.
other son, I have two bonus. Yeah, my other son is went to Howard and lives in C. So when we look,
Okay.
whenever we start traveling again,
Right, right, right,
so,
right. When
whenever we
that
start
happens,
traveling again,
most definitely.
yeah.
All right. All right. Well, have a wonderful
Yes. Well,
one.
thank you so much. We are so excited
Namaste.
that you joined us and enjoy the
Mm,
rest of your evening.
thank you.
Namaste
Namaste to you
and well,
too.
thank you.
Thank
All right.
you. All
Be
right.
well.
Be well.